You're not stuck. You're not stuck. You're just not willing to let the old self die. You're simply not letting it die. I watched a video on YouTube and there was this podcast and he was talking about this concept of power of learning is dying and it hit me. It stuck with me that learning, growth, these things require you to kill psychologically the old version of you. It requires parts of you to be dead. And that's why it's so painful. That's why it's so miserable to grow because it's the death to your old self and your old self will fight like hell to not die. And that's the point. That's why so many people don't do it. They don't grow. They don't want to grow significantly. They want to grow a little bit because it's less painful. And they want to come back to their original self when they have made progress. They come back because the old self can't die. You just can't let it die. You make progress. You do things that you wanted to do. You feel how good it feels to do the good habits, to be consistent. You do them for a month. You feel incredible. You feel proud. And that's when you fall because you simply couldn't let it die. The old self will fight. It will fight, obviously, because it doesn't want to die. The older version of you. And I talk about this a lot in my videos and a lot in my channel because I think it is a deep, deep part of your psychology. And it's very interesting how when you make so much progress for a couple of months, you fall back down. You sabotage yourself. And I talk about self sabotaging because this was the biggest problem in my own life. That's why I talk about it all the time. Because even though I have overcome it, there are still going to be days where I have to fight, where I have to be tempted and go through that. Every time you learn something, every time you do something hard, every time you work, you become new. You give birth to a newer version of you, and it's very slow. Imagine like a small part of your brain growing when you work for a lot of hours a day. You do that for a week. There's a small change in your brain, unnoticeable right now. But in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 8 months, it's a little bit more. It's a change. It's birth to newer pathways, newer neurons. I don't know the science, but you can visualize yourself growing and seeing certain parts of you that are new. You can see growth, but it's so slow. It's so painful that most people just let it go. Most people, they go back to their old self because their old self was already established. This tree that bear no fruits was already established, and you're letting it die to grow a newer tree that is literally nothing in front of it. It's non-existent. It's like in the roots. You don't even see the tree, and you're growing the tree and you're putting your bets on it, but you don't wait. You go back to the original tree that you were coming from, that sucked, that was dying. You didn't let the tree die. You gave it the water it needed. You should have given that water to this new plant you were growing. If you would have given this new plant the water it needed, that plant, that tree, would be dying even more and even more and even more. And this tree would be growing. You would be giving birth to this new self of yours. I don't want to drag this video any longer. I don't want to waste your time. I just want to leave you with this idea of this thought. Learning is dying. Part of you has to die if you want to grow and if you want to learn. And every time you self sabotage or you go towards it, I want you to imagine a tree, two trees, a new tree that is still growing, very small, less significant compared to the tree that you are leaving behind. But it is necessary for you to leave that tree behind. And every time you're going to self sabotage, visualize this image of two trees, this tree that bears poison that is so bad for you that you have to let it die. And it's painful to see it die so that this new tree can grow. I want you to think about mastery. I want you to think about growth. It's painful. I am not perfect. I also go through it and I think about pain and growth and suffering a lot. And I think it's absolutely necessary for us to suffer, to go through the pain because everything you do, everything worthwhile is painful. And if you don't get used to the pain, pain is the core of our existence. Pain means we are alive. We feel pain at every single step. We feel pain when we are growing. We feel pain when we are stuck. We feel pain when we are on our downfall. when we are self sabotaging, when we are not doing enough, we are on the decline. We feel pain at all times. That means we are living, we are alive. That's what it means. Next time you're going to do something hard, you're going to do something that mentally challenges you or physically challenges you, I want you to think of it as something that builds you. When you work, you don't work on it, it works on you. When you go to the gym, you don't lift the weights or do the work on the weights or the machine. It works on you and your body and your mind. So every time you do something hard, it is working on you and it is building you so that you can pursue even harder things. And then once you pursue those hard things, it will become easy at one point. That's what I realized with learning everything that I ever learned. Every subject I ever learned for the first time was difficult. Was my brain was telling me to not do it. My brain was like questioning me. Am I even capable of doing this? There are so many better people than me. There's so many people who are ahead of me. I get those thoughts. I'm not immune to these thoughts and emotions. But what I do is I go through it anyways. And what I realized is in a week, once I'm aware and once I'm used to the material I'm learning, whatever I'm doing, I will feel like that the thing I did earlier was fucking easy. And the thing I'm doing right now, it's even more difficult. It's building upon that thing I just did. And slowly, I get good and I get better. And that happens with every field you can possibly imagine. If you're doing physics, if you're doing computer science, if you're working out, if you're in a job that is difficult, if you are an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, at the beginning it will feel so difficult. But in a week, in a month, in a couple of months, that will be your bread and butter. That will be the thing you will master and you will get good at. And then you will do even harder things that you can never possibly imagine yourself doing because you did that one hard thing at the beginning. It builds you up for the next hard thing. It builds you up for the next hard thing. Then you do the things that are difficult, that are dreadful, that you hate, or that is like so complex that it makes use of like 99% of your brain. And after you have done that thing, you're like exhausted. You do that once, do that for a long enough time. It builds you so that you can do other big things, bigger than this one. And at one moment, years from now, you will see and look back and you will laugh. You will laugh at the old tree and you will be like, that tree that I looked at, that tree that I didn't want it to die, that tree that I didn't like, I was happy about. Look at the tree right now. Look at this tree. Look at this skill. Look at the thing I'm doing right now. I'm doing the things like you can multiply that tree by 20, and that's the thing I'm doing with this one tree now. And that's growth. And that's what I want you to visualize every time you go through hardships, every time you're doing something hard, every time you want to go back to the old tree. Just think about the new tree. Think about 20 trees from now. How much stronger, grander, and more beautiful the 20th tree would be like. How capable your skills would be if you just did this thing for the next 3 years. It might feel difficult right now, but in 3 years, you will be a master, a professional at this thing. And this will be your bread and butter. That's what I want you to leave with in this video. Like, think about growth, think about learning, and visualize it. Visualize the concept of trees I gave you in this video. I hope it helped you. If you got some value out of it, like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below. If you have some feedback, if you want me to make some videos about something you're struggling with, just let me know. And that will be it. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching this video.